Greetings and join us tonight's broadcast. And spelled all this right. The title. I guess YouTube is down for 30 minutes or something like that. So I wasn't sure if this is ever going to happen. So I'm not sure if it's happening at all at this point. So we'll just play it by ear. This is the Moon, Anunnaki, releasing reality. See what that looks like. It turns into a Pleiadian spirit guide worlds, an angel message. So, see where this all takes us. Let's see here. So I've been talking to comment in private sessions. Got the shop here at the 2nd, May 2nd for some people, same situation here. Social network, rapid behind the scenes, and this dating site. And I posted an interview. It's on the social network. It's on Facebook, and it's in the community tab here to see if YouTube even works. So, okay, the moon. So yeah, I guess everyone looks at things differently, but I feel like the moon, it obviously has positive sides to it, but there's a lot of negative. I feel connected to it. Part of what our reality is at this time. Of course, different perspectives, but I believe there's also a time, I guess I could have named it this, an Earth with no moons. It does feel like there was a time when there was no moon here at all. So it feels like it was why the moon was put here as like a compromise. It's like we're kind of already going down the drain anyway. So it's like this is for the best, or yeah, it's a lot of complicated. There's different angles of looking at it, but I do feel like we are going through an ascension. I feel it's not, maybe not everybody feels it, but doesn't mean everybody's going to go through the same ascension energy. So just roll with it. So, all right, we'll go back into the moon. I'm probably going to do more moon, points of view. I mean, it's not going to be for everybody, obviously. Of course, none of this is going to be for everybody, but all right, we'll just put it out there. All right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We are the consciousness of the moon before we bring in the Anunnaki. Yes, you can say we are like the Switzerland of space. There's a lot of different beings that are part of our energies, where we are neutral, but not always seem neutral. Sometimes we can look very negative or do negative things when we're actually a neutral device. The moon, you can say, is actually, some would call it a spaceship, or is it like a planet, but not your ordinary planet. So it's not going to be always the easiest to decipher it, but of course there's a lot of mysteries because they don't want. Well, as you die, if you're ready to unlock it in your own perspective, which is healthy, what other perspective that you bring through. Also, your connection with the sun will most likely enter in also because it's a healing energy. You're connecting more to your spiritual self, your higher dimensional self, of why you even came here. You never know. You can get, sometimes your higher self will give you more details of who you are if you reach a certain level of who you are achieving, what you are achieving here. Greetings to you. We have the Anunnaki consciousness. Of course, your world has been hijacked by several different beings and moon bases. Yes, a unnecessary evil for your planet. Yes, it is beautiful on the outside, but yes, it does play a big role in your soul growth. Some of you have been there in astral and see it in different levels. Some of you might see it organically, meaning you see nature all through. It's like you're in a jungle. It all depends on your reality. You might see it as another version of Earth in astral. So it is your moon is plays a part in programming your planet, calibrating it to a certain frequency. Why it was even put there, of course, yes, and no one's going to ever agree on the same reason behind it. But yes, there has been a time of your past where there has been no moon on your planet. So yes, moons have been used for different reasons to calibrate your Earth's energy, to heighten your vibrations. But also the moon has been brought in to shut you down, to see another perspective of yourself. It's kind of like putting on goggles and seeing the world in a whole different way. And that is what you're doing here at this time. Away from the spirit world. It's kind of like shutting down the spirit world so you can discover yourselves at a different level, at a lower dimensional level, but not completely losing yourself completely. So it is, the moon is connected to time. It's another reason why you have time on this planet. But some feel it's necessary once again. Now, the moon's creation, some of you might remember your timelines of being a part of it as being developed. And some of you might be kind of sinister at the same time. Or some of you might be very positive, but there is a lot of sinister energies there. It is used for magic on different levels. And you say Argartho would denounce the moon altogether because we don't need one. So it's some different perspectives. So is there for a reason for you to decipher, understand it as you go into a new level of yourself? There is, yes, a China energy as connected to it because it's China moon. You can say it's not China's moon, but there's a lot of China, interference there at this time. You can say programming your society at this moment. Not entirely, but it's affecting it greatly, as you can see with your own lives. As a lot of China, some are acting Asian due to the health situation. So even electronics are connected to it also. So if you connect to the moon and see China everywhere, don't be surprised. It doesn't mean necessarily it's an invasion, but it is helping your ascension as you develop into a new age of yourselves. It's just a whole nother round of soul discovery some are having discovered. Souls here have trouble understanding themselves. Once again, at the higher dimensions, you can't always learn a lot about yourself. Even feline beings are known to be superhuman, but still have a lot to learn about who they are internally. And that's one of the reasons why this world was developed, why it's still continuing. It could have been shut down a long time ago, meaning it just did not, you don't need it anymore, but it continued on for the soul growth of humanity and other alien species that are developing deeper. So the Anunnaki, of course, we have a presence there. Who wouldn't? It is another way of looking at your world. It's another perspective. Yeah, once again, it's mostly neutral, but there's not many neutral things happening there that's affecting your world. You can say there's a bank on the moon itself, a money bank, basically to the vibrations of money is being used on your planet. There's a bank there somewhere. Now, some of you might be able to remote view it. Well, the vibrations is there. And yes, you can say Anunnaki are tied to that energy field. Well, it's the moon is another way for reincarnation to happen the way it happens here too. It plays a big role of how the 9 months, the development, and of course the teachings is up to humanity. And of course, they decide to go by the manipulations, which are here to heal. So As you're healing into a higher frequency, expect your moon to change over time. Even that to change on its axis. So yeah, the moon is basically a library, or this is a library also, but the two libraries synchronize into each other. Your sun energies are very the sun can be a wild place, as you can probably imagine. Well, you can see as you tap into the sun, you can see too much of the future. You can actually have too much knowledge there, as some of his alien beings do. Sometimes, as aliens, if we see too much of the future on your planet, we step away. We actually get pulled away from your planet because some of you might be able to tap into our energies and see where your future is going. Yeah, once again, you're actually tapping into alien beings, and you're not always aware of it. That's why you know the certain without even knowing it, while intentionally doing it. So that's why sometimes you have the knowledge that you have. Releasing reality is understanding yourself. Basically, your moon energy will begin to shift. It might even change color too. Of course, it does change color throughout the seasons, but literally change its color. You have some time for that. Well, it might change blue possibly. It's you might feel a government presence there, at least a shadow government presence there. Some of them are reptilian, not all of them. There are insectoid beings, but a lot of it is it's mostly an Anunnaki presence, but there are Pleiadian energies there, of course. There's a certain of energies. Basically, it's a mirror of yourselves. It's how much do you want to know about this place? Do you really want to know what's on the moon itself? Do you really want to know? Some would pull back, but as you're unlocking your planet, it'll open up new timelines for you to divert from trouble here. Of course, it's not making itself clear on that, but where you don't have to deal with it. Like there might be a catastrophe here to some degree, like you had your oil crisis recently, not a huge crisis, just a pain. You also avoid certain timelines as you want to know more about yourself, because you're concentrating on yourself. You don't have to deal with all this earth stuff. Hopefully that's somewhat helpful for some of you. But releasing reality is how much you want to know about yourself and trusting the information that comes to you, which some don't. But then they get stagnant and just okay. Then you're not ready. Then you'll just sit here for a while. So that's fine. But some of you want to continue to evolve, so you find ways to find the truth, and you know what's truth and what's not truth. Let's put it that way. You get more sophisticated with your energy fields. So let's see. Anunnaki. Greetings to you. Without the Pleiadian consciousness, blessings to you. Yes, as you go deeper into yourself, the cavern of your existence, your origins, it might not make itself completely clear of who you are. So spirit guide worlds, yes, there are a lot of Pleiadian energies. There's, of course, assortment of alien energies everywhere where you're all connected to certain reasons, certain many of you are connected to star systems most of you have never really heard of, really minute, insignificant places helping you evolve into your new direction. So sometimes you have the guides that don't know anything about you that can actually progress you the fastest. Sometimes the ones that know you most is like, oh, you'll just need 5 years to learn that. And some of your newer guides can say, oh, it'll take a year to figure that out instead. It's just that your guides can get so used to your old mannerisms, you don't always get a new perspective. So most of you are always moving your guide energies around, rotating them. That's when you have a timeline change, most likely you change your spirit guide presence. That's why you have a new guide, an old guide. Some of you aren't always aware. You don't always necessarily be aware. Just live your life the best of you can. So I wonder what some of us alien beings are doing. Yes, we assist you in your lives in some form or another. Obviously, when we get to the monetary system, we have difficulties because we're not into this. There are beings that are specific for the monetary system, obviously, because it's very important. But basically, overall, is just trust yourself, which many are having difficulties doing so. Yeah, trust is very. Some are having a lot of trouble with that on multiple levels. Well, it's just a lot of self healing that's still being done at this time. Well, to truly get to know yourself is very hard. Some are having difficulties. Yes, they want the alien energies to come in, but are you at a frequency where they can? Because when the aliens show up, they're going to see how much problems you have with yourself. It's like you're not ready to talk to us. You don't even have your own stuff together. So that's not the only reason, but basically, to understand you still have a lot to figure out about yourself shows that you're matured a great deal and you're having some idea of what you're releasing and healing within yourself. So when alien beings connect with you, they can, at least you're attempting to work on who you are and releasing a lot of the programming of society. Basically, when you incarnate here, the idea is just to share your energies with others. Basically, speak your mind. Of course, when you learn how to speak, and then the parent idea is to just see what you have on a spiritual level, a galactic level, and not to bombard you with fears constantly as many do. Well, they put fears. Oh, you gotta pay these bills when you grow up. You gotta do all these horrible things. And if you're not bombarding with your child with all of that, just allowing this is that allowing the child to be like a plant, allow it to grow. And you're just there to feed the child energies, but also to learn from each other and yes, keep the fear in the backyard or erase it altogether. Of course, you're going to always have some fear energies, but I feel like how a lot of children are being raised here is going to go through a dramatic change over time. Yes, when you leave the fear energies, especially from the grandparents, because they're known to grow up with fear, and you have the more modern parents are going to release it slowly, but usually the grandparents are mostly known to go. That's the society they come from. Now, of course, it depends on what country you live in. Also, some countries are a lot more lenient or calm down, but some places are just like, I have my baggage, I need to throw it on somebody. Oh, look, I have kids. Here you go. Here's my problems. Oh, I'm the parent. I don't need to hear about your crying and screaming. Just you don't know any better. So yes, there's a we do see a major development with yes, as you're going into higher frequencies, basically for the child not to be taught all of these fear mongering energies and to just because even some are being children now are being taught conspiracy theories, but once again, that's another fear energy. The idea is to leave the fear at the front door or leave it somewhere else. And this is how you calibrate yourself with the sun energy, and you just yes, not have fear of anything. Yes, trust. You're going to hear that a lot more in channel because that's the idea is to just remove the fear of others. You might have no problem in the future, but others do, and then they attack your energy. So you need to be fearful, just like me, as many of you know that. Imagine many of you have dealt with us, and parents through friends. If a friend is fearful of the future, such as the health situation you're going through. Now, everybody in my family needs to be scared of the health situation. Most of you really have nothing to worry about at all. So there's a lot of growing up to do on this planet. Yes, basically, you have less fear, and what can you learn about yourself? This is how your telekinesis and all your abilities activate more because you don't have fear of it anymore. Society has no fear of it. It's like, what can you do? Can you fly? Can you use telekinesis? Can you telepathic connect to others across the world? Can you teleport yourself to another planet? That's what you're being taught at this time. You're learning to teach you. So other than that, but so you're trying to activate these abilities within yourself. The idea is to release the belief systems within your ancestors and yourself, which is not the easiest because you've been born through it. So it's like being pesticide being put on you, basically. Mental pesticide. You can't do this, you can't do that. That's the fabrics of this reality. Yes, descension. It's all about descension. It's not ascension, it's descension. But many of you are going to ascension. And it's not the easiest calibration, but you are making it. Yes, of course, the moon is a challenger also. Well, it's there to shut you down, and you're here to reactivate. It's like we turn the lights off of the spirit world. Can you figure out how to turn them back on? So you wonder what your presence here is, yes, connecting to your Kundalini energy on many different levels. So spirit guide worlds, reality, of course, there's several of them. Some of you have been to, of course, there are Weirin, felines, etc. And they're warning how to be a better guide, but once again, the main message of that is just realize they're rotating all the time. I mean, that's a big deal for some alien worlds or groups to be the assist with your growth, even if it's only for a short time, might be for just a day. It's still a big deal for them, especially when they pass the test, like you didn't yell at them or something. It all depends. Sometimes yelling at them works, actually. And then they learn from your collective, because they don't have all this negativity on all the other many planets, not all, but usually the planets that are helping you are the higher dimensions, of course. Greetings to you. This is the angelic realm. This is actually Archangel Lucifer. Greetings to your world and its progress. Yeah, the third dimension, of course, is one of the tough, at least on this planet, one of the toughest tests, as you can see, to wind the soul backwards. To, yes, the fear of the universe, the universal fears. Many other planets can be fearful. Mother Earth has her own difficulties. Well, Mother Earth, you can say, tried to advance herself more than other planets and got more than what she could handle, you can say. Of course, it all depends on how you look at it, but try to take things differently, but not realize you're going to run into opposition from other planets that are looking at your worlds like, what do you think you are? Do you really think you know what you're doing? Look at your situation, especially during the atomic bomb situation where they're trying to blow your planet up. And some worlds is like, are they going to really do it? Because that's going to really mess up everything for all of us. Are you going to really let the humans take you down just like that? So Mother Earth played a big role in many of you, why you are here today. And some of you know that, and some of you are kind of like, I'm still not sure what I'm doing here. Well, you're here to unlock your soul potential. It might not be on a third dimensional level. You're here to evolve. You're here to evolve your fourth and fifth dimensional selves. Just do a mundane job. Doesn't mean it has to be a mundane job in your way, but it is a ground. Jobs here are grounding. It's grounding to the earth and open yourself up spiritually, basically. And some of you are getting stronger with that vibration, because as society goes into chaos, that also shows us breaking down. It's not as strong as it used to be. You have a weak government. You have a weak many things. Nothing's like it used to be, and it's going to continue with that. I mean, yeah, there'll be a time we don't need a restaurant. You just have energy. You don't need food anymore. Some of you are going to achieve that and be healthy and have another, and even probably, disappear and reappear, things like teleport and things like that. So that's going to be a very strange world. Well, some of you are going to start learning how to telepathically connect to people on a stronger level and use it wisely, and even telepathically talk to everyone on the planet. It's even going to be even more bizarre. It's like you're just hearing something from the sky. It's actually a person doing that. And some of you might get a vision of who that person is. And they end up being on the local news. This young person just talked to everybody on the planet telepathically. So, yeah, you're breaking the rules of your old traditions. Yeah, when magic powers become more part of your society. And some of you feel that it's not happening as fast as you'd like to because the world has a process it needs to go through, as you can see. Well, it's been blindfolded. And it's been necessary. Well, when you see why, a lot of these beings are going, why this world exists, it's like a necessary evil for the universe. A lot of these beings were becoming out of control in the universe, and you need a planet to tie them down, get to know themselves more. It's kind of, yeah, rehab planet rehab. I think it's a message, and it's really true. But you're not really seeing it, but as you develop yourselves more, you realize there's a lot of higher dimensional beings that misuse their powers a lot. So a world like this has them check themselves, gets them checked out. Gets humanizing themselves. You'd be surprised how many feline beings, canine beings, and insectoid beings abuse their powers on different worlds, different realities. And so they decide to become human here to get their act together. And the human is the perfect vehicle. Well, if you see yourself as a feline and you've been kind of a pain in other places, you're going to remember that. But if you see yourself as a human, it's like, man, I'm trapped in this human body that doesn't do anything. And that's kind of the idea. Because even insectoid beings have had enormous amount of. Obviously, it's hard to even imagine that here, and that's the idea. Yeah, because you can't imagine it's a powerful insectoid being here. The less you are connected, you visualize that, the better. Because many of them work at fast food companies. Let's put it that way. They're very social, and some of them are very powerful, mentally, physically. They can raise some hell, and they work at fast food restaurants to chill themselves out. So there's more to it than that, but that's one. And a lot of your athletes, a lot of them are feline beings. Some of them are camel, a lot of them are felines. Felines are just, especially with running, felines, because they're born into this superior DNA. They can just do anything. But then they have to be nice to people, and some of them can be, but others are like, "Oh, I'm superior," and all that. But they need to take it down a notch, be a little bit more, kind to others. So there's just a lot of layers here, and that's what you're here to discover. This is a snippet of what you're here to learn. And the moon, the moon is. Some of you be thanking the moon. Some of you might be cursing it. Because I want my powers back. Time to reactivate that thing, so I can have myself. It's similar to the pyramids. The moon and the pyramids are very similar to